When people think about living in a luxury home, they think everything will be, well, luxurious. But it's not always what everyone thinks, at least not all the time. There are definitely some dirty little secrets about owning a luxury home that people don't usually talk about. But guess what? We're gonna talk about them right now. Now, if you have something to add to this list, let me know in the comments down below so that everyone can be aware. Now, let's start with one of the biggest dirty little secrets about owning a luxury home, and that's homeowners insurance. For homeowners who maintain a luxury home and have a high net worth, standard homeowners insurance is probably not going to be enough for you. High-valued homeowners insurance is tailored to meet the needs of luxury homeowners who also possess a high net worth. These homeowners typically have larger and more valuable homes with beautiful features and high-end finishes. And these properties often require specialized homeowners insurance that will cover the specific characteristics of the home. Now, most of these homes are custom-built structures, have advanced security systems, and extensive landscaping. And all of this adds value and complexity from an insurance standpoint. For example, a luxury home in a high-end neighborhood might have unique architectural features like a custom-built wine cellar or an elaborate theater. Standard homeowners insurance will likely not adequately cover any replacement cost should this need to be rebuilt. But a high-value homeowner policy will ensure that everything will be covered if it needs to be replaced. Now, high-value homes are usually classified as homes valued higher than $750,000. And some insurers might require a minimum property value of $1 million to qualify for this type of coverage. Now, these thresholds are set because high-end homes usually have a higher construction cost. They also use premium materials and have valuable fixtures and finishes. For instance, if a home is worth $1.5 million, a standard homeowner's policy might not provide sufficient coverage to fully rebuild the home in a disaster. High-value homeowners insurance, on the other hand, would consider the unique aspects of the property and provide coverage that aligns with the overall value of the home. Now, these insurance policies provide superior protection not only for the home, but for the contents. Dwelling coverage typically extends past the standard coverage by providing extended replacement coverage. This means that if the cost of replacing the home exceeds the amount initially listed on the policy, the insurance will cover the additional cost. For example, if a luxury home was damaged in a natural disaster and the repair costs were higher than anticipated due to rising construction costs, a high-value homeowners insurance policy would cover the difference. Additionally, high-value insurance policies will usually give you better protection on your personal property, including higher value limits on things like jewelry and fine art. They may also offer coverage for damage for things like antiques and collectibles, and standard policies just don't offer things like that. For homes like this, you also need to carry higher than normal liability coverage. This coverage may also include protection against legal claims and lawsuits against the property. This type of policy also goes beyond standard policy limits and may even provide coverage for legal defense costs outside of the liability limit. Consider this scenario. You have a guest at your home and it's a luxury home and they slip and fall and they get really hurt. With a high-value home insurance policy, the homeowner would have adequate coverage to handle all the medical bills, not to mention legal fees and potential settlement fees. All of this is there to help protect the substantial assets that the homeowner has. Then there's a range of potential other benefits that a standard policy just doesn't offer. These benefits may include sewage backups, increased limits for replacing landscaping like trees and shrubs, higher medical payment limits, and protection against credit card theft and forgery. If a luxury property has a sewage backup that damages the interior, a high-value homeowner's policy would cover all the damages, which would be probably pretty substantial. These policies can also offer coverage for specialized needs such as flood insurance, protection against your second home or vacation home, kidnap, ransom, and extortion coverage, deductible waivers for large losses, complimentary home appraisals, and risk management services. These personalized benefits ensure that high net worth homeowners have comprehensive coverage for their lifestyle and assets. Now, the insurance company that most of my clients that have homes like this use is a company called Chubb. There are many others, so make sure you check them out. And here's my caveat. I am not an insurance provider or a specialist, so make sure you talk to them to get the coverage that you require. Now, something else that's not really talked about, well, okay, it's talked about, but more like a,
oh my God, how much does it cost to maintain that house?
But not so much as like a concrete number. So owning a luxury home is not something that everyone can do, even if you think you have the ability to own a luxury home. The reality is that managing a luxury home is sometimes more expensive than buying a luxury home. The maintenance and upkeep costs can become a massive burden. These homes require necessary ongoing routine maintenance to ensure that the home and all of the systems are in working order. And if you neglect the repair or maintenance of some of these units, the cost just skyrockets. Why? Because many of these systems, whether it be mechanical, electrical, or some other system within the home, need normal routine maintenance. And all of that is necessary so that they can all function in the way that they were intended. And many of these systems are going to require specialized workmanship, which costs more. And if you let that go, the cost to get that up and running again is going to either cost a small fortune or you're going to have to eventually just replace it. To ensure you have enough to cover the overall cost to maintain a home like this, many say you should have at least 1% of the total property value as a budget for the maintenance. That way you can afford any maintenance that comes up. So let's say you have a home that's worth $2.5 million. You need to have $25,000 budgeted for maintenance that comes up throughout the year. Now, keep in mind that you will likely not spend $25,000 in maintenance costs every single year, but you should be saving that so that on that off year that you've got to replace the air conditioner, the roof, a refrigerator, a water heater, all of those systems, those big systems in the home, you have that saved and budgeted so that you can pay for the repairs. Now, if you are looking for someone to help you navigate either buying or selling a home just like this, take a look at that pinned comment down below. Click that link, reach out to me, and I will personally connect you with one of the amazing agents that I know that handles homes just like this. In addition to actually maintaining the property, you are also going to have to maintain the grounds. And depending on how much land there is, will determine the cost. Something else that will determine the cost is where the home is located. See, if the home is sitting on, say, 2 acres, but it's in a naturally wooded area, or like here in Scottsdale, where you have maybe a lot that's also 2 acres, but you're in an area that majority of the lot has to be utilized as natural area open space, meaning that outside of your building envelope, you can't touch it. These types of things will require less landscaping and less maintenance. But you still have to keep in mind that those areas that are designed with landscape, hardscape, pool, spa will very likely be pretty elaborate, even if they look simple. The mechanics behind these things are usually top-notch, state-of-the-art, and require maintenance. Then there are those properties that allow them to design and create anything on the entire piece of property. And in those cases, the expenses will be a lot more. Now, when it comes to the utility bills on homes like this, it can genuinely shock homeowners. The pure size of some of these homes translates into more energy usage, therefore higher utility bills. One of the primary contributing factors to this is heating and cooling. Now, these homes often have multiple zones, and with several bedrooms and living areas, and sometimes even separate wings, maintaining a comfortable temperature throughout the entire house requires a lot of energy, which means that the heating and cooling systems are working continuously, therefore driving up the utility costs. Like here in Arizona, in the summertime, the air conditioning bills for homes like this can be quite significant. Then you have extensive lighting both inside and outside of these homes. Now, many of the homeowners address these types of issues when it comes to the overall cost by doing everything they can to keep as many things in their home completely energy efficient. And while this helps, there's oftentimes some pretty significant upfront costs so that you can actually achieve this in the house overall. Now, what about taxes when it comes to homes like this? No one likes to talk about taxes. Well, much of that is going to be determined on where the home is located because property taxes are determined by the individual states. And as you can see from this map, the darker the color, the higher the taxes. So the state with the highest taxes, number 1 is New Jersey, followed by Illinois, and in third is New Hampshire. And here in Arizona, we sit at the 10th lowest in property taxes. And the lowest state is Hawaii. Now, the only real way I have seen property taxes really affect whether someone buys or does not buy in a specific state is when it comes to buying a second home. If the state has really high property taxes, this might preclude them from buying a second home within that state. Here in Arizona, we see this a lot when people are trying to decide between Arizona versus Florida. The property taxes in Florida are much higher, not to mention the cost of insurance, if you can get insured. Now, many want to say, well, Florida doesn't have personal income tax. Well, that doesn't help you when you're buying a second home. And that's why Arizona wins out a lot. When you talk about all these expenses, one might start asking, well, why not just put solar on your luxury house? Well, I did a video about that, and you can watch that right here. As always, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.